I hate to break it to you, Himiko, but the childhood friend never wins. At all. I mean, why don't you ask Sayori? You might be able to hang out together with her. She'll let you know. Can anyone tell me if NTR is actually a thing with this series? Because after finishing this episode, that is the question that popped up in my mind after I saw everything. I'm like, is this series going to have NTR? If anyone can confirm or deny that, please do so in the comments below. And please don't spoil it if you can, but I mean, at the very least, just say yes or no if there is NTR or not. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's talk about a big thing about this episode that everybody should be discussing, and that is how these characters are obviously having communication problems, which this is a standard when it comes to romance series, and especially when you have a romance series focusing on Yuri aspects and characters finding out that they're technically gay. So, seeing them not really having good communication, or having communication issues, it makes sense. You know, I'm willing to let it slide for the most part, because you don't see this type of series often. You don't see a series to where we have, like, you know, gay relationships between characters. It's not usually a big thing in Japan. You usually just have, like, Yuri bait, or, you know, for the other side, yaoi bait, and you don't see it go anywhere. And so I'm glad to see that this series is trying to go that far, but at the same time, though, it does feel realistic, because Yuzu, she never really knew she would love someone. Like, she never really fell in love before. That's how the series started. And when she did fall in love, the first person she falls in love with is a girl. But then, adding more on top of that, she technically is the stepsister of her. So that complicates everything. So communicating properly is going to be very awkward because they live in the same house together. So just walking up and talking about this is just, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be very awkward. And then throwing it even further, they also sleep in the same room together. So it makes it complicated. So I can't really get angry at Citrus for using this very cliche trope, because even though it's used constantly and consistently in so many romance series I have read or watched, I can't be angry with it because it does make sense here. And it's a little bit different compared to the normal communications issues. It's not just typical drama, it's much more than that. So, I do appreciate that, and it's something I do want to acknowledge that Citrus has done very well with, and so hopefully it continues to have that pattern. Anyways, let's talk about Himiko. Overall impressions of her character, thanks to getting some characterization with her in this episode. She's probably going to be a good character in the future, but I'm not a big fan of her right now, and the reason for it, she seems very possessive over Mei. She seems like she wants Mei all to herself, and she doesn't want anyone around her. She seems like a very clingy character, or a very clingy person, doesn't want to let go of anyone, or let go of the person she loves, and that's what it looks like to me. I mean, the way she's like, you know, Mei is mine, I've been watching over her and all that all her life, I took it upon myself to watch over her, make sure she's fine and all that. I'm like, that's what you want to do. That's not what Mei wants. You're doing something for yourself, which is fine. That's how people are. We do many things for ourselves. I mean, a lot of times, the reason why people do certain things in life is for themselves, not for others. That's the cold, harsh truth. And I don't say I dislike, you know, Himiko for that, because it's a very human thing to do, but she's very possessive, and it seems like none of these characters are really taking a moment to think about what Mei wants. I mean, even Yuzu, she is also at fault for this. She's not really taking a moment to really factor in what Mei wants. I mean, she does seem to care somewhat, we've seen this, but overall, nobody's really stopping and thinking about Mei. Like, does she want this? Does she want us clinging to her? Does she want, you know, these, like, sexual advances and stuff on her? Does she want this? I mean, nobody's really stopped to ask her about it. She really hasn't even given a proper answer to Yuzu. Yes, there was an exchange with a kiss, but there can be a lot more meaning to that than just a kiss. For instance, instead of, you know, having Mei kiss Yuzu, that actual kiss could have been Mei's only way to express her feelings, or her only way to kind of shut up Yuzu. That could have been it. Or maybe she was taking pity on Yuzu, and she kissed her. That's the only way you can, you know, think about that situation, because right now, Mei hasn't really said anything. She hasn't straight up communicated to Yuzu and said, I want to be in a relationship, I don't want to be in a relationship. She hasn't said anything, and obviously, from what happened in this episode, what we didn't get to see off screen, obviously whatever happened with Himiko was very extreme, and we don't know exactly what emotions were stated, or how she was speaking, or whatever, because obviously Himiko made the first move, and since it seems like Mei has been attacked all her life, basically, she probably doesn't really know how to express herself well. And I feel like everybody's overall opinion of Mei is very diluted or messed up, because when you look at her at first glance, she looks like a very dominant person. She looks like someone that is a very strong-willed, someone that will get things done, say what she wants. That's what she looks like, especially since she is a student council member, or president. And that's why many probably get the wrong impression of her. And maybe Himiko, even though she probably has a good understanding of what Mei wants or how she is, overall she's not taking a moment to realize her feelings. And I think that's what's happening here. So that's the main message you could pull from episode 4 of Citrus. Now, looking past all of that, though, we also have to talk about, you know, Yuzu and how she just is very confused right now. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, she found out she's gay, and, I mean, she's going after her feelings, and, you know, I'm very surprised of how she's willing to go after her feelings. I mean, even sleeping in the same room is going to be very awkward, which we see in this episode, so I am proud of that, and these little awkward moments make a lot more sense, especially with the theme going on with the series, so I actually like it so far. Now, one last thing to really talk about, though, when it comes to this episode, I guess, is the other segment with, you know, Haru. So Haru, I believe she has feelings for Yuzu. I already said this in episode 2, but it's very clear something's going to happen. There's going to be another character introduced, and I could see, like, Haru being that character that's going to fall in love with Yuzu, because Mei already has someone. For instance, it is Himiko going after her, and the way Haru has been hanging around Yuzu for so long now, recently in these past couple episodes, it looks like she might have some form of feelings for her, or eventually will have feelings for her, because that's the way it's looking to me. And so it's just a matter of time until that happens. And if you guys tell me there's an NTR tag, oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen if it does have NTR. But, yeah, overall, I think the episode, it was an enjoyable episode. I do think that some ways of how the sexual advances are being done, I feel like they're being more used as a plot device than anything else, and I could see why many are having problems with it. I mean, even I kind of have a problem with it. But overall, I feel like there's more going on here than just that. I believe that's probably the only way Mei or certain other characters can really express or communicate with others, and that's probably what is happening. But I'm probably going to end it there. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's episode of Citrus. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? You know, be honest in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please leave a like. And if you like my content, please subscribe. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below next to the subscribe button. So with that being said, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe, stay healthy, stay warm. Chibi out.